Hi guys, Sandra here of the blog with SensibleMom.com. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a vlog. I'm trying to get back to vlogging and I'm trying to find a way to share more recipes and just show you guys what we're eating and what we're doing without having to feel like I have to use my DSLR and the video has to be perfect or whatever. So I'm going to try to vlog and incorporate more of those things in my vlogs. So this is my attempt at that. What you guys just saw was what we had for lunch today. Pasta is a very typical meal for my family. If you watch my grocery hauls, you know we buy a lot of pasta. So that was lunch today. It's actually approaching dinner time, so I need to get started on that. We're going to be having sort of breakfast for dinner. We're going to have bacon, eggs, and cornbread. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start off with making the cornbread. My family has been asking for this, and about a week ago I picked up some cornmeal from the store so that I could make it. This is a sweet cornbread, and it is delicious. It's so good. The recipe is on my blog. I shared it a long time ago, back in 2012, as you can see. But if you're interested in it after I make it and want to try it for your family, I will also have the recipe linked down in the description box below. So let's get started. All right, so here's everything that you'll need for the cornbread. Here's a quick picture of, or a quick shot of the ingredients and some of the instructions from my blog post. I did want to mention that I do have 1 cup of buttermilk as one of the ingredients, but I very rarely keep buttermilk on hand in the house. I typically just use a substitution. So today I went ahead and put a cup of milk in this container here and just added 1 tablespoon of vinegar to the milk, gave it a stir, let it sit. You can just let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes and you're good to go. You can use it as a substitution for buttermilk in the recipe. And then back here, I want to show you guys the pans that you'll need. I always make my cornbread in a cast iron skillet. So I'm going to go ahead and use this for the cornbread. It just gives it a nice crust and it makes a difference. Trust me, you'll want to use a cast iron skillet. And I typically just throw a chunk of shortening in the skillet and use that as my oil, but I don't have any shortening. So I'm going to be using this coconut cooking oil today. It's good for baking and we use it to cook with on the stove, and I'm going to go ahead and use this today in place of shortening. The recipe says to use shortening, but you can go ahead and use something like this as a substitution. And then the other thing that you're going to need is a big saucepan and a whisk. And then here are all the ingredients. You're going to need a cup of buttermilk, as I said, 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of cornmeal, and you're going to need a half a tablespoon of salt, as well as a half a tablespoon of, this is baking soda. And then you're going to need 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 2 eggs, and 1 stick of butter. And then I did want to add that you will need a little bit more sugar once the cornbread is done cooking, once it's done baking, I should say. When you take it out of the oven, within the first couple of minutes, within the first 2-3 minutes of taking it out of the oven, you want to go ahead and sprinkle about a teaspoon of sugar over the top. It just makes it just even more delicious. And like I said, this is a sweet cornbread, so if this is your thing, you are really going to enjoy this cornbread. So I'm going to go ahead and get started now with preheating the oven and then just start putting everything together. Alright, so I'm going to preheat my oven to 375 degrees, and I'm going to put my cast iron skillet in the oven to heat up while I'm making the cornbread mixture. Before I do that though, I'm going to put some of this coconut oil in my skillet. And I'm not really gonna measure this, but you want probably about, I don't know, a tablespoon. And you really just want this to coat the skillet. I'm gonna go ahead and move it around and then put this in the oven. Okay, so there we go. I'm just gonna put it in there like that and let it preheat. All right, so next I put my heat on low, and now I'm just melting the butter in the pan, and you're gonna end up making the entire mixture in one pan. And I know this seems kind of weird. It seems weird that I'm melting the butter in the pan and not in the microwave. That's what I typically do when I'm baking and need melted butter. I usually just melt it in the microwave and mix things up in bowls, but you don't do that for this recipe. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what I've been doing for years, and it just works. I originally adapted this recipe from one that I found on allrecipes.com way back when. I just changed it up to suit our family, and it's, like I said, it's delicious. But this is what the original recipe said to do, to melt the butter in the pan, and I don't know, it just works. And it's just, I don't know, it's a little weird, but it works for this recipe, so trust me on this. I'm guessing that doing it this way just gets the butter to the perfect temperature, and that's why the original creator of the recipe, I guess, did this. I don't know, like I said, but our butter is almost completely melted here. Probably just take another minute or so. And then once the butter is melted, I'm gonna turn the heat off. All right, so my butter is all melted. I turned the heat off, and now I'm gonna whisk in the sugar. Here it goes. All right, the sugar's all mixed in, so next I'm going to add in the eggs and whisk those in. My oven is preheated. And just a side note, these are new appliances that came with the house, and I just love the way that the beeps on them. It's the microwave and the oven and the dishwasher, they're all Whirlpool, and the beeps are just so subtle and nice. They're not all loud and annoying. I really like that. So that took a while. Took a while for that to happen. I feel like companies should have done that a long time ago, but they finally got around to doing it, and I appreciate that. So now you get this nice subtle little chime when the oven is preheated, which is nice. But anyway, I'm gonna mix these eggs in now. Now the next step is to add the baking soda to the buttermilk mixture or the soured milk, whatever you're using, and give it a stir. So you're mixing these up together first before adding them to the pan. Next, you're going to add the buttermilk mixture to the saucepan and whisk everything up there. All right, and now it's time to add in the cornmeal, flour, and salt. So I'm going to add those ingredients into the pan one by one and just mix them in one by one. Next up is the flour. Starting to make a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. I typically like to clean as I go, and I think I've done a pretty good job of that today. Here is my counter, not looking too bad. And here's my sink. Got a little bit of flour in there, but overall not bad. Just a shot of that area. So yeah, are you one that likes to clean as you go? Let me know in the comments down below. I definitely do, because then the job doesn't seem so overwhelming once you're all done, right? Less to clean, less mess to clean up. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and mix this all together here. All right, now my cornbread mixture is all done and ready to go into the cast iron skillet. So what I'm gonna do next is grab a pot holder, because my cast iron skillet is going to be extremely hot, and then I'm going to carefully and quickly pour this into the cast iron skillet and pop it back into the oven. You want to hear a little bit of a sizzle when you do this. Then you know your pan's hot enough, and you're gonna get a nice crust on your cornbread. It's going to be delicious. So I'm just gonna get it all in here And then I'm going to put this back in the oven. So there it is, and I'm gonna bake it for about 20 minutes. I actually set my timer for 20 minutes, and the original recipe says to cook it for 20 to 25 minutes, but I've never used this oven to bake this cornbread before, so I don't know if I'll need to bake it for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't know, but I don't want it to over bake, or I don't want it to burn. So I want to keep a close eye on it, which is why I'm going to check it at 20 minutes. While the cornbread's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and wash these dishes, and then I'm going to get the bacon ready to go in the oven. All right, my dishes are done, so now I'm going to focus on the bacon. I've got 2 packs of thick cut bacon here, and here are my baking sheets, and I just lined them with aluminum foil to make clean up a little bit easier. And once the cornbread is done and out of the oven, I'm going to bump the temperature up to 425 and put the bacon in the oven. All right, here's my cornbread. It's out of the oven. It is hot and it looks delicious. And you could leave it just like this and it would be great. But like I said, like to add sugar on top right when it comes out, because I feel like the sugar on top just gives it, obviously it gives it some more sweetness, and it just gives it sort of a wow effect. It's just really delicious, just more delicious with the sugar on top. So that's what I'm gonna do here. Well, I guess I'm gonna put the camera down so I can sprinkle the sugar on a little bit more evenly, but I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle some sugar over the top, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when I'm done. So here's the finished cornbread. And like I said, it's extremely hot. So I'm going to go ahead and let it cool. And in the meantime, I'm going to put the bacon in the oven. All right, so in this goes. And I will rotate these pans and probably flip the bacon during the cooking process. All right, so while the bacon is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and get these eggs ready. I'm going to make just 10 of them. I'm not gonna make the whole dozen because my husband is out of town on a work trip right now, and he comes home tomorrow, and we're really excited about that. But he's not gonna be joining us for dinner tonight, obviously, because he's not here. So I'm just gonna make 10 of these eggs, and I'm gonna add some Himalayan pink salt and some pepper. Mix them all up and just have them ready to go for when I need them. Okay, my eggs are ready to go for when I am ready to put them in a pan on the stove. Now I'm gonna check the bacon. It's been cooking in the oven for about 20 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip it and then put it back in the oven. All right, so I took the bacon out and I flipped it, and now I'm going to pop it back in the oven for about another 20 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go outside with my kids because they're dying to get outside again. We've already been outside a couple of times today, but they wanna get out there one more time before it gets dark. So we try to get outside every day, multiple times a day. The kids love it out here. All right, and while the kids are playing, I will typically sweep the garage or sweep the walkway or the sidewalk in front of our home, or I'll sweep the driveway because I'm weird like that. Or I'll pull weeds or just hang out in the garage and watch some YouTube videos or go through my email or whatever. I just like to be outside with my kids because while we live in a great neighborhood, sadly we have some irresponsible dog owners in our neighborhood that like to let their dogs loose. So I have to be out here for that. And so we're gonna be out here probably for another 15-20 minutes. Well, probably another 15 minutes because I got the bacon cooking inside. And then we'll head inside. I'll cook the eggs quickly and get dinner on the table. All right, so my bacon is done and it looks fantastic. I took it out just before the second 20-minute timer was up. So it probably took, I'm gonna say, around 38 minutes in the oven. Again, I flipped it once and then I rotated the pans in the oven, and it came out looking really good, and it tastes delicious, but of course it's bacon, so it's always going to taste good, right? And then over here, I'm just melting some butter in a pan, and I'm going to add the eggs and just quickly scramble these. So here are my eggs in the pan, and these should cook pretty quickly with a nice hot pan. And now over here, I've got another cast iron skillet just heating. As you can see, for anyone who wants tortillas, we like to have tortillas on hand all the time, if possible. So I pick up a pack here and there while I'm at the store, so that we always have them, for the most part, in the refrigerator. Because, you know, they make a great complement to so many dishes, so many meals. So I've got these on hand for anyone who wants tortillas with their bacon and eggs. All right, so my eggs are done. As I said, these cooked up really quickly and they are nice and fluffy. So I'm just gonna turn off the heat here and get the eggs on plates. Here is the beginning of my daughter's plate. This is gonna be for my daughter Brianna. I'm just gonna add the eggs to the plate, and then I was planning on trying to cut up a watermelon too, because we've got a watermelon that we need to eat, and I just ran out of time and my kids are starving, so I will try to cut up the watermelon after dinner, and then they can just have it as a snack to snack on whenever they feel like it. So I'm gonna go ahead now and get dinner on the table. Okay, so here is my daughter's plate with everything on it. The bacon is nice and crispy, the eggs are nice and fluffy, and the cornbread is just looking so good right there, ready to be eaten. You have no idea how many times my kids have asked me for cornbread, but I kept them away until dinner time here. So we're gonna dig in now. All right, so dinner's done and it was delicious. And now here are the only leftovers. As you can see, they've been claimed already too. I'm saving a piece of cornbread for my husband Ruben, who will be home tomorrow. And then the two youngest, they claimed the corn. So I have like some of my other kids right here, and they're probably a little bit disappointed because the cornbread's been claimed already. But yeah, David and Elizabeth have claimed the other two pieces of cornbread. So that is the ball game on dinner, and now it's time to clean up the kitchen. All right guys, so the kitchen is clean and it's looking good, and it's actually a couple of hours later and my kids are in bed. So I'm gonna get ready for bed and then probably spend some time on the computer and maybe walk on the treadmill, and I'll probably do a little bit more cleaning just in other areas of the house. So I just like to have the house like really nice and clean for when my husband gets home. And plus I'm a little bit addicted to cleaning. I kind of like it. So I'll probably do some more cleaning tonight. And that's it, really. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this vlog right here. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me today. Hope you're doing well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.